Really tough question. What's your name and where you're from?
My name is Donny Edwards, originally from Texas, but now I live in Las Vegas.
Can you tell me how you first became an Elvis fan?
It happened pretty much when I was a baby. I mean, my mom said that she would play his records, and if she played love songs, it would kind of rock me to sleep, and if she played fast songs, it would get my energy up. And so since I was a little boy, I've always recognized Elvis's voice. I was about not quite 3 when he passed away, and I can actually still remember that day because I remember my family, the reaction, especially from my mother, going, "Oh my God, Elvis is dead," and I think it just left an imprint on me. And I still remember as a little boy, I could have been more than 3 or 4, and hearing him overhead, like at a Kmart or something, and recognizing it was Elvis, and asked my mom, "Is that Elvis?" She goes, "Yeah, that's Elvis." She thought it was strange that I could recognize his voice more than anybody. And so since I was a little boy, I just loved Elvis, and I still do. I just, that hasn't gone away. In fact, the more I learn about him and his struggles, and his careers, his ups and his downs, the more I'm just amazed by him. For someone to take on as much as he did, to work as hard as he did, it's just phenomenal. That's why he's still my hero.
Well, how did you go from a fan who listened to the music to a fan who performed the music?
I lost a bet. No. I went from getting a lot of attention because a lot of people, I've been coming here to Memphis since I was a little boy because I had relatives in Germantown and Bartlett. And every time I'd come here, especially as my teenage years, people would say, you look a lot like Elvis. And my hair wasn't black, it was more brownish color. And for years, I just always got attention. And then one time I met, in '96, I met George Klein, DJ Fontana, J.D. Sumner, and some of the Sweets and the Jordanaires. And they all told me, you got a really good young Elvis look. So I thought of, it kind of got me thinking about a little bit, but it took me 6 years before I actually would decide, okay, I'm going to try this. And there was a contest in my hometown in Lake Jackson, Texas. I went on stage for the first time, did 2 songs, I Want You, I Need You, I Love You, and Hound Dog, and I won the contest. Then a few months later, I won another contest in Lamar, Texas. And then a guy saw me from Vegas in my 3rd contest up in Milwaukee, and he brought me to, instead of bringing me to Vegas, he brought me to a casino to work with him in a show up in Oregon. And I did that for 3.5 months, and then I landed in Vegas after that and got hired pretty quickly at the Elvis Rama. So it kind of happened pretty quick for me. I went from just doing a few contests within 6 months to being booked into shows. So it took off pretty quick for me. So it took me a while to get up the nerve to say, okay, should I be doing this? And if you do it right, you do it for the right reasons, and you do it with total devotion and knowing that you're trying to do your best of paying respect to the greatest entertainer of all time, then that's how I look at it. That to do it correctly, to try to do it the right way.
Well, who in the ETA world inspires you?
Probably if there's any one person that inspired me in the ETA world, it was Gary Wesley. Gary Wesley has been doing Elvis since the early 80s, I believe around 81, 82. And when I met him in 2003, I was a young guy, didn't really know much about the Elvis tribute world. I knew a lot about Elvis, but I didn't know a lot about the tribute world. And he was able to break a lot of it down for me and kind of really teach me the ropes and teach me what to do and what was, how people will respond when you put everything you have into it and you do it authentically and you do it correctly. So Gary Wesley was probably the most significant ETA who's really and kind of carved out, helped kind of teach me the ways, many ways.
You spoke earlier about a gig you got coming up this weekend, I believe. When you land a gig like that, how do you prepare for the show?
You know what? During Elvis Week, it's kind of tough to prepare because you're constantly go, because you want to see everything. Because first and foremost, you're a fan. And I'm a diehard fan. So whenever I come here, it's hard not to want to go see everything. Go through Graceland, go grab some more souvenirs. So what you do is you try to find time to do that, see your friends, see some family that I still have here. And then about the day before, I kind of start, about a day and a half before I start kind of going through my set list. I start humming it. I start going through Elvis footage of how he performed. Maybe there's a certain set of how I want to do it. So I go look at certain bootleg footage that I have, and I look at everything I can to prepare, and then I just basically say a little prayer and hope to God that I do it as the best I can with what I've been given and putting everything I can into it to putting on a great show that the fans will love. And that if Elvis himself was, to look and see what I was doing, that he would love what I do and appreciate what I do. So that's how I always look at it. Always try to bring honor to him.
Well, can you take me back to your first trip to the mansion and tell me what that was like?
First time I went to Graceland, got to actually go through Graceland. For years we've been coming here. I get to drive by, but my family, because we always had a lot of going on with my grandmother and my aunts and uncles, I never got a chance to really get away from there because I was too young to drive yet. So in '89, the day of my grandma's wedding, she was getting remarried. My mom and dad dropped me and my sister off here in 1989, September of 1989, and we took the tour. And I just loved it. I was just, it was the old headset. You had to do the timer thing, and it was just awesome. I mean, even now, when you go through there, you feel him. There's just something about his presence. Seems like it's, there's still a presence in the house, it feels. I don't know how to explain it. It's just very unique. And to this day, any chance I get to go to Graceland, I do. In fact, I've made it a tradition that every time I come to Memphis, I have to go to Graceland before I see anything else. I have to come by to pay my respects, just kind of come by and kind of show how much I love it.
Well, when I first started coming here, I used to hear the phrase Elvis impersonator, and then it became Elvis tribute artist. What's the difference between the two?
See, I think a tribute artist is somebody who loves what they do, and maybe impersonators do too, but I think an impersonator who's someone who does it not from the heart. They do it for show. They do it for their own ego, maybe. They're doing it for money. To me, a tribute artist is someone who, if they had to, they would probably do the show for free just because of the love for performing and the love for doing something to represent Elvis. And I think a tribute artist is more professional. I think a tribute artist is somebody who does it correctly. And I know there's a lot of people who don't like tribute artists or impersonators. And I admit there's some guys that are, they do a different version, or, and some guys have fun with it, or they try to have fun with it, and they come across as cheesy. Sadly, that's always going to be. It doesn't matter what you have. You have people who claim to be Christians who are false Christians. So to me, it's very similar. There's some of us, like I consider myself one of the most die-hard tribute artists there is, who always tries to do it authentically. And then you have impersonators who are just looking for a paycheck. And they'll wear the goofiest outfit. They'll wear a jumpsuit Elvis never wore, or an outfit, and they'll do songs in a different key or different thing that no one's ever done before. And to me, they don't take it as serious. To me, a serious tribute artist will always strive to perfect what he's doing, to always strive to know that Elvis's level, it's unreachable, but there's nothing wrong for trying to reach it. Just go for it. It's like they say, reach for the moon. If you fall short, you land among the stars. That's the way I look at it.
Just a few minutes ago, you performed a couple of songs at the tent. Is it a different kind of feeling for you to perform across from this house as opposed to anywhere else?
A little bit. Actually, 2 years ago, I became the first and only tribute artist to perform on the grounds of Graceland. And I did that August 17th, 2013, I did that. And that was beyond. I mean, I kept thinking, okay, there's somewhere they're going to shoot me or something. But yeah, I actually got to, I did a little thing where I went up to the house, and then I came back and I performed across the street, and it was a piece of property that Elvis actually owned during his lifetime. That's why that's why they gave me the certificate and this thing from the governor. They said I became the first and only Elvis tribute artist to ever perform there on the grounds of Graceland that was actually owned by Elvis, as well as they made me a fellow Tennessean, which I think gives me more tax stuff I have to do. But anyway, it was just amazing. I mean, so to get to do the tent is always awesome, to be close to where he was. Because Elvis, it's kind of ironic, I was just in Tupelo. Elvis is one of the few people, because we're born in hospitals, we die in hospitals. Elvis was born in his home, and then he died in his home, which makes him a unique statistic again. But to actually be here, to be close to where his sanctuary was, away from the rest of the world when it got crazy and when it got a certain way, to be close to Graceland is amazing. It's very, it's just very spiritual kind of feeling when you're here.
What's your goal? What do you want the audience to take from your show?
First and foremost, I hope they realize that I'm a die-hard fan and that I'm not up there just for myself. I'm up there as a representative of an Elvis fan who believes that in doing Elvis the correct way. And to me, to do it as close to how he did it, which is pretty much unachievable. I mean, there'll never be another Elvis Presley. But to see how I perform, to see that it's from the heart, and that I always try to bring my A game, no matter how bad I may be feeling or whatever ordeal I'm feeling. Like Elvis, he had a lot going on in his life. He always went up there to give his best, and I feel like if I gave anything short than that, I shouldn't call myself a tribute artist. So I always give my best.
When you get home and somebody comes up to you that's never been here and they ask you what Elvis Week is, how do you describe this?
I tell them it's a great celebration of Elvis's life. It's the fans coming together for 7 or 8 days out of the year to really come together and celebrate the life of the greatest entertainer. And yeah, there's some stuff I don't agree with. A lot of people come here, they party, and they party and they do some crazy stuff. Some people come here for self-promotion. To me, there's too many contests now. this shouldn't be a time to compete. This should be a time to come together. And I think that this, even though in my past I've done a lot of competitions, I haven't competed in about 6-7 years. I think this week should always be about doing what is representative as remembrance to Elvis, not so much about boosting your own stock in the game. So to me, when I tell people, if you come to Elvis Week, come to it, go to Graceland, go see Graceland, go see the planes, the cars, everything you can down here, and then kind of get away, go to Bill Street, go to Lauderdale Courts, go down to Tupelo, start your trip there. Kind of all within this 2-hour span, you can kind of go from Tupelo over to here and go all the places to kind of see where he came from, to understand where he got to, why he was so amazing.
Lastly, would you say, hi, I'm Donny Edwards, and you're watching Walking on the Boulevard?
Walking on the Boulevard?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Hi, I'm Donny Edwards, and you're watching Walking on the Boulevard.